Well, hey everybody, welcome to the third edition of the KVBA Podcast. And today we got a special treat for you. It's one that we actually recorded a couple of months ago. And you know how it is, ministry. It's been busy and I haven't been able to get this one out to you. But we got a special guest today. His name is Ron Evans. And Ron is the founding pastor of Church Under the Tree, which is an incredible ministry that you're going to hear about here in a moment. And also just hearing about Food for the Cities and the Treehouse, which is a couple of ministries that have branched off of that. But I've come to know Ron over the last couple of years and have been able to see his ministry, and he just does an incredible job. And so you're going to be blessed today as you hear from Ron. So without further ado, here is Ron Evans.
Well, we'll start with Church Under the Tree and just a brief about the story of Church Under the Tree and how it started. About 6.5 years ago, I was at Super Summer, because that's where we took our leadership for. I was a youth pastor, volunteer youth pastor, at a very small church over in Collin County. And we went to Super Summer that year. That year, the theme was Unleashed. And so that weekend, they always have what I love about Super Summer is they spend as much time preparing the leadership as they do. They pour more into their leadership than anything to prepare them to be able to lead the students throughout the week. And so one night, Leighton was just casting the vision for the week. He was talking about the theme, Unleashed, what that meant, what he felt God was leading them towards too, and the reason that they went with that theme. And God just really been speaking to me and telling me that I need to be paying attention throughout the week, that he has something new for me. Okay? Started really trying to be very sensitive to the Spirit, and went up and actually, Leighton and I didn't even know each other hardly at that point, and I just asked him, hey man, this is what God's telling me right now, would you pray with me to that end? And we prayed together and went on. There's a lot more detail in that, but I'll skip past that to get to after Super Summer. I just knew that there was something different supposed to happen with what I was doing. No problems at the church we were going to. We had a great youth group going. We had a great organization. Things were going really well. I just knew that for me, things were changing in my walk. And so just really started praying to that end. God, what does this look like? What's supposed to take place? And started meeting with Leighton on a regular basis. He started praying with me through that. In that, God led me to a park in Plano called Haggard Park. If you're unfamiliar with Plano and those times, but it's connected to the old downtown of Plano. Haggard Park has been there ever since I can remember, and ever since my parents and my grandparents can remember. Okay? Years and years and years. And for years and years and years, it's had problems with students and young adults congregating in that park, and there being problems there. Found out that was going on. Decided I'm going to go out there and check it out. I really felt like this is where God was telling me to go. So we went out there and we spent some time. We started just building relationships. I didn't tell anybody that I was a youth pastor anywhere. I didn't tell anybody that I was there because God sent me there. I just went there and started developing relationships, started talking with people, getting to know them, getting to know who they are, why they were there. Found out that there was this little subculture of people who were in that park. They even had nicknames for each other. They didn't use their real names. And it's like a total separate identity from the rest of their life. A lot of them I found were rejected for whatever reason, either by their parents, their peers, or someone of importance in their life. And they kind of went to this park to congregate, to have a total separate identity, and to be accepted. And so all of them were looking for something. Just continued to go to the park, spent months there. Formed a prayer team that would go out on Thursday nights, and we would prayer walk and claim the park in Jesus' name. on Thursday nights, and then we would return on Friday nights just to continue to build relationships and meet people. A couple of months into the process, I'm not a very patient person. I don't know a whole lot of people that are, really, when you get down to it. And so I was really begging God for the next step, because I'd never done this before. Guys, I didn't go to seminary. I didn't take the route that most of you guys did. I got saved when I was 28. And so my walk has been way different than a lot of church leaders. And so when I got there, and we started working through the process and praying and meeting people, I got impatient and wanting to really, get things going. And so I just really started praying and asking God, what is the next step? And finally one night, we were out there praying, and I just felt very clearly that God was telling me it's time. And I didn't know what it was time for. As a matter of fact, I remember asking, time for what? And I just went around I had several people that went with me by this time, went around to them, and I said, guys, listen, I don't know exactly what's going to happen, but this is what I want you to start doing. God is telling me it's time. I want you to pray for clarity, and I want you to pray for His Spirit to speak, because I know when it's time, it has to be Him and not me. And so people started walking off and breaking off from the group that were with me, and they went off by themselves and started praying. And I just stepped up on, they had picnic tables around there. Next thing you know, I find myself stepping up on a picnic table, and I said, guys, you know me, you know who I am. I've been hanging out with you guys for several months, but what you don't know about me is that I'm a youth pastor at a church in Wiley. And I really believe that God has sent me here to tell you about His Son, Jesus. Went through not a comprehensive, really super evangelistic message, but just real quick, this is who He is, this is what He's about, and I want you to know more about Him. And as I'm up there, this stuff's just coming out of my mouth. And by the way, starting this Sunday, we're going to meet here at 2 o'clock, and we're going to talk about Jesus. We'll have a sandwich and a Bible, and we'll talk about Jesus. And that's where Church Under the Tree started. From that point on, we just went consistently every Sunday. Every Sunday we met new people. Every Sunday people started hearing the gospel. Every Sunday people were getting saved, and it just continued. The process just kept going and going. And we've got people that have been saved at Church Under the Tree that are now off in other churches, and they're not in the lifestyles that they were in before. Some of them still are. Some of them, they're those that will hear. Those that the Holy Spirit was drawing have been drawn, or that seed has been planted to be drawn later. And so we've just continued. And Church Under the Tree today looks totally different than it did 6 years ago. It's mostly where we were dealing with mostly homeless and or rejected youth and young adults. Now we're dealing with more homeless adults, 40, 50, 60, 30, from 30 to 60. Those are what's coming to Church Under the Tree now. And so it's kind of changed and morphed into something that's different, but we're still reaching the people. And it's really cool, because it's like these people moved out and God just brought more people in. Okay, you're done here, but now here's who I want you to share the gospel with. Here's who I want you to disciple and to love on. And so it's just been a journey that's been tremendous for us. In and along that, we started a transition house called the Tree House. If we meet somebody that has obviously the Spirit of God is drawing them, they've become a Christian, and they're beginning to desire that better and closer walk with Him, but maybe they're homeless, we bring them into the Tree House and we disciple them in the Tree House. And then we turn them out. We help them get jobs, get a place to live, and then or maybe it's reconnecting with their family, those types of things. We turn them out that direction. We've had more failures than we've had successes. but that's just the nature of that type of transitional living. But now, I mean, we're right on the verge of graduating a couple of men that are in college, that are getting ready. They're both attending Collin College there in Collin County, and one of them is completed one semester, is in his second semester, and then next semester he will be moving back to New Mexico to his family to continue his college career there and reconnect with his family and live back in New Mexico with his family. Another young man came to us with a lot of legal problems, nothing really overt. He had been drinking and partying. He was a kid, and he got in trouble, so he got a DWI, and then he got another one while he had one, and he came to us when that life change had taken place, and now he's gone through all of his processes with the legal system. He's now on the end of that. He started college this semester. Next semester he'll move in. Him and the other guy will move in together. They'll live together for one semester, and then the one gentleman will move back to New Mexico, and he'll stay in and continue his college stuff there at Collin County. And so that's just one example. We've helped some men reunite with their families and move back. We had one young man that came to us that came down here with his uncle in a situation where they were drug dealers. His uncle, they were at a place, his uncle told him, "You stay here, I'm going to go with these guys." And he never saw his uncle again. And his uncle was found executed in just over the border in Oklahoma a few weeks later. And he was never able to get his stuff together to get back. He came and he stayed with us for a period of time. We helped him get back on track, helped him reunite with his family, helped him bridge that gap between him and his family and what took place. And he now is living back in Oklahoma. He's just got married. He's got a kid. He started a career with UPS, just doing really well. And so we've had a few successes. We've had more failures than we've had successes, but that's the way it goes. The one other ministry that we've started is called Food for the Cities. Food for the Cities is a ministry that we partner with a local church, and we help that church develop a missional arm of their church. Give them a consistent monthly and weekly mission that their church is a part of. And what that looks like is we go in and we teach a church how to use a box of food to share the gospel. I can get a box of food from an organization that I have a connection with that'll feed a family for a week, a family of four for a week, for $10. Okay? And then we take that box of food and we go in and we do a teaching process where we teach the people that are going to be involved how to use that box of food to share the gospel, how to follow up, how to love, and how to be consistent. Because, guys, more than anything, it's showing the love and being consistent. People don't care what you say until they know you care about them. Okay? And so we teach them that process. We help them along in that process. But it's their mission. We are just the teaching arm of it. We teach them, we walk with them, help them work through obstacles and things like that. But it is their mission, and it is their responsibility. They pay for it. They put the people into it. They do the follow-up. And we've had it where the church is going and picking people up and bringing them to their services. And we've had it to where the churches that we've partnered with have started a Bible study in the community that they started going in and sharing the gospel in. And so now they're starting a little community Bible study there where they're raising up disciples there. And so that's all that to come back to Lake Lavon. And the reason I ended up at Lake Lavon is the Treehouse Ministry is out there. Okay.
All right, so there you have it. That's the first edition of the podcast. Now, if you noticed, it looked like he was just getting into talking about Lake Lavon. And Lake Lavon is a Baptist camp just on the east side of DFW. And so next week, I want you to come back and join us for the second edition of this podcast. And you'll be able to hear Ron's vision for Lake Lavon as he just seeks to kind of restore the integrity of the camp, bring it back up to where it's one of the best camps in the area. And so you're going to want to be sure and join us back for that next week. Thank you very much. Hope you have a great day.